Got it. So the most probably we are live, but because there is always a couple of seconds delay, please allow me, guys, because you already know me. You already know that I always have to see myself first before I jump in and say, hi, guys, and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. And this is the newest episode of the Truth Runners Talk Show. Hi guys, hi guys. I am so happy and truly excited, and I'm so looking forward for today's conversation because my guest today is Nicole Farrell. Hi Nicole, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Christina. This is an absolute pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Guys, I would love to introduce Nicole in a couple of words because she's new in our community and I would love you to know who she is. Nicole is a media and entertainment practitioner who has been in the industries for a collective 20 years. That's a lot. After navigating for 12 years in
Yeah,
the
I
corporate
started when
world,
I was 5.
oh my goodness, Nicole resigned from her position and started to walk her own path, which I love. After resigning, she continued her freelance jobs as a television talk show host, magazine columnist, theater actress. Wow, that sounds awesome. And branding strategist. Years later, she registered her company and
Mm-hmm.
became the chief executive officer of Okurant Event. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, Okura events.
Ah,
Yes.
I'm good. Under that company, she wears the hat of publicist, PR consultant, image coach, and personal stylist. Now, this is something I would really love to talk about today. Their first major PR client was Miss World Trinidad and Tobago in 2017, which was a lifelong dream for her. Nicole caters mainly for professional women and corporate clients. Locals and foreigners alike can benefit from her customized coaching services and intimate sized workshops. But before we got there, I would love to ask Nicole, why personal branding, my dearest, beautiful Nicole?
Personal branding has become such a passion of mine because I think I've realized being in business, I've been in business for 5 years, and I realized the sheer power that it has because it's just that it's very powerful. So, if people get to understand just how relevant it is and powerful it is, then listen to me. You can take off from there. And so for me, in realizing, wait a minute, there is something to this, I kept going deeper and deeper into it. And now, anybody who has ears, I tell them about personal branding because it's so important. And the thing is, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to embrace personal branding. You can be an employee at a corporate company. You can be an executive. You can anybody along those lines can benefit from personal branding. So it's not just about being a business owner. You have to determine what you want your personal brand to be and work towards that, whether you're an employee, an executive, or an entrepreneur.
So, what I'm hearing you saying is that basically anyone can have a personal brand. You are your own
Yes,
personal brand.
even exactly. Because even in our friend circles,
Mhm.
we have a personal brand among our friends. I mean, with me, among my friends, I may be the diva and I may be the person who will bring the disposables when we're hanging out because I'm not going to cook to bring to the hangouts. So that's the personal branding I have. Like, okay, that's the diva and that's the person who will do this. So they know what to expect from me. They expect me to be cheerful when I come around because that's just who I am. So even within our friendly circles, we can have a personal brand as well.
So, how would you define exactly personal branding? Because
Sorry,
what
can you repeat that?
Yes, how would you define personal branding? Because I know
Okay,
companies, the,
personal.
the reason of my question is this. Because companies, yes, we know big brands and all those stuff, but when we are talking about personal brand, is there any difference
Mm-hmm.
between branding the company, branding yourself, personal branding? How the two fit together? How does
Oh,
how does it work?
I am so glad you asked that question because that is something I wanted to touch on. And let me preface it by saying, I would say within the last 10 years, especially, maybe more, but especially within the past 10 years, you've been seeing a lot of corporate executive, a lot of bigwigs, a lot of honchos becoming the face of their business. And that is not a fluke. It's because they have realized that there is power in personal branding. So, yes, they may have a huge company, but okay, if we go online and we see a company, okay, we're on social media, we're consuming so much during the course of the day that you could just be another company. But when you put a face to the company, then that changes up the game. There's that relatability factor coming into play. So, to answer the question, yes, it can be something that's exclusive, but because there is the power to it, people have realized it's good to merge the two. And that's why you have to be careful with what you even want your brand to be. Like there are two persons I know that I came across on TikTok. One, his content is basically recording his daily activities, whether he's in a meeting, whether he's taking a phone call, or whatever the case might be. But his personal brand is, he comes across as, hey, I'm matter of fact, I'm about the business, I need to get things done. That's his thing. While there's another one who he more gives tips on different things you can do, and he's that friendly uncle who will talk to you and give you advice, right? And he will lead you, whether it's to his website or whatever, they will both lead you to what their business does. And in doing this, yes, you might end up patronizing their business, but at the end of the day, because of how relatable they were, or because they gave you insight into their business and their life and their personality, you would have been a little more endeared to them and by extension to the company. So when you're deciding on your personal brand, it's very imperative that you're clear in your mind what you want to be. Because if you keep changing your personal brand, you're going to possibly alienate, but more than likely, you're going to confuse your ideal clients. You can't be one thing over here and then over here you're something else. So your personal brand and your company's brand, it has to all be cohesive and they have to complement each other.
Mm,
Otherwise, there's going to be a confusion there. So you have to be very, very careful about how you want to curate your personal brand.
wow, that's really, really powerful. And it really, really makes sense though, because I
Yes.
always say I do not buy products or services. I buy that person. I mean, if I like the person, obviously I'm gonna buy the
Right.
product or the service as well, right? What
Yes.
if we are, like we are, for example, coaches, small entrepreneurs, one man company, one woman business. How do we brand
Mhm.
ourselves?
Okay, well, that is even more important
Mhm,
for us to have personal branding.
mhm,
Because remember, and I always say a product based business is a little easier than a service based business. With products, you can put it out there. If they like the packaging, even they might try it. If they
exactly.
like the ingredients, they will try it. But when you have a service based business, there is that know, like, and trust factor. They want to get to know you, they want to feel as if they like you. And they certainly want to feel as if they would trust you. Now, you being a mindset coach, there may be things people may need to confide in you. They need to feel comfortable to talk to you, right?
Mm,
And even for me, being an image coach and a personal stylist, there are things that I tend to go below the layer when people have mindset issues with trying things or doing something new. So I need them to be comfortable with me to say, hey, this is where this stems from. And sometimes it's really a deeply personal matter that caused the problem in the first place. So it's very important for us to decide how we want to go out there. Do we want to appear to be that tough, tough love person? I'm going to tell you as it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. You're going to do this because I said you should do it. And by golly, you'd better do it. That's how some people's personal brand is. And then there's some who want to be that friendly girl next door. They want them to feel comfortable. They want them to feel as if they just came into their home and ate a slice of apple pie and maybe had a cup of tea, and then there might be somebody else who says, no, I want to portray a diva, or I want to portray somebody who is highly confident. And for some people, it may be an act, and for some people, it may be natural. So when it comes to people like us being that one woman show and being coaches and specialists, we have to decide, okay, the ideal customer or the ideal client that I want to have, how are they going to relate to the brand that I want to curate for myself? Because you have to think about the client. So you can't say, well, okay, I want the ideal client to be X, Y. So for instance, let's call a brand name like Gucci. Gucci is not going to say, well, oh, let's go in the corner on some area, some rough area, and let's try to sell our stuff and try to get people might like it, but it may not be their ideal clients, and it may not be the space where they should even be in the first place because of who they want to target.
True.
So personal branding is very, very, very layered. You have to think about all the variables and then curate things in a particular way. And if I were to draw a quick example, if you look at pastors or evangelists on television, I remember this hit me some years ago. I was looking at a sermon on television, and the pastor had on, he was wearing a plaid shirt, jeans, and a pair of sneakers. I had never seen a pastor dressed like that. So I was like, wow. And it hit me later on when I started thinking of the different preachers that I would have come across. There's the preacher who would wear a three-piece suit. There's a preacher who would wear what he wore. There's a preacher who would wear a t-shirt and jeans and sneakers. There's one who would be kind of cool but casual in a shirt with a pair of jeans and loafers, or whatever the case is. And trust me, that's not a coincidence. That is by design. Because there are people out there who don't want to go to a church where everybody's dressed to the hilt and everybody's fancy and everything. They want to go somewhere where if they feel to go in their shorts, they can go in their shorts. If they feel to go in their flip-flops, they can go in their flip-flops. And because the pastor is setting the tone for that forum that he's in, people would feel comfortable. It's like, oh, well, if he's dressing like that, well, surely, people are dressing a particular way. So when they look at the congregation, they would like, oh, well, yeah, this is somewhere I can go to. So it's not by coincidence that people do these things. It's very much by design.
Okay, it's nice. What I'm hearing you say is, but correct me if I'm wrong, is that how you brand yourself, how you show up, this is how you basically gather your tribe around you, right? So who will resonate with you with how you show up, those people will come to you and you
Definitely.
will attract those people. Give me just 1 second to
Definitely.
say hi to all these beautiful ladies who are joining us today. Thank you very much, ladies. Remember
Sure.
Jocelyn,
Hello,
hi Dr.
ladies.
Anita. This is good stuff. Of course, I was sure that Nicole is going to share
Oh,
that with
hi.
all the good stuff today. I'm really, really happy. And remember, before our live, actually, we were talking about that you look really nice, really though I'm more a rock and roll
Oh,
type.
thank
But
you.
I think this is how we show up. And we were talking about, yes, you could dress like me, right? But I could dress like you and show up like,
Mm-hmm.
let's use your words, as a diva, but that wouldn't be me.
Right.
If you show, right? I mean, if you would dress
Right.
like me and show up like me, that wouldn't be you. So
That's right.
I think that this is what I call authenticity. Do you think that when someone try to brand
Yes.
itself differently, I mean, not authentically, not who they really are, will that come out?
Yes. Now, the thing about it is being authentic is it's something that you really should do. And I'll go deeper into it. Um, Especially when you're service based
Mhm.
and people are around you, at some point, if you're not being authentic, they're going to sense that or they're going to outright see it because how long can you keep up the mask for or the act
Exactly,
for?
exactly.
You know, and that is too much work for me, sister. I can't deal with that. I listen, I have to be me, and if I'm not your cup of tea, that's okay. You know, but you have to be authentic because that is what sells now. And with the consumers that you'll see online, especially the buying public, and in marketing we call that the 18 to, well, 21 now to 45 years old.
Mhm.
Well, it actually went up to 55 years old. That demographic, they're consuming so regularly on social media, and they're looking again for that relatability factor.
Mhm.
So when you come and they get accustomed to your particular way, and then you switch up, it's like, wait a minute,
What's
what's
going
going
on?
on?
What happened?
Yeah, like, yeah, what's the deal, right? So you have to be authentic because that's what they're looking for, and that is what, as you said earlier, that's what endears you to them. Because I've even seen it at times, you know, you would come across an artiste, a celebrity, but when I read a personal story of this, or I see a particular video of them doing something, all of a sudden my perception of them changes about their brand. And that is something that happens with you. So in dealing with your authentic self, and remember, personal branding is not just about your physical self, it's about your verbal self, it's about your online self. So,
Mhm.
for instance, if I am dressing like somebody else, I would not be comfortable. I need to be me. You might see my dressing and find, oh, whoa, that's a bit much, or you know, I don't really like that. That's weird. But that's okay because that's me, and you would be how you want to be. I would speak how I want to speak. However, another part of being relatable, especially again, as we're service based, is being able to go with that bob and flow. So, for instance, you may have a particular style of delivery with a certain group of people, right?
Mhm.
Simply because of maybe their backgrounds or their educational status or whatever the case might be. And then you may deal with another group in a particular way. However, you have to have that subset of your core personal branding. That's important. So being authentic, it has to be across the board. I can't be one way with you, and then when I go out there, I'm another way, and then when I go out there, I'm another way. There are certain people that I follow who are very, very solid with their personal branding, from Steve Harvey to Oprah to Mariah Carey to Beyonce. I love Beyonce.
Me too.
Yeah. You know, but they are very solid with their personal branding. They know what they're about, they know what their brand is, and they move to suit. That's who they are. Now, I wanted to just briefly touch on the character because we were talking about this before we came on. Unless you want to develop a character that is a particular way, then that's a whole different story.
Mhm.
So, for instance, say somebody like Simon Cowell, when he came out on American Idol, he was known as the meanie of the group, right? Because he would be like in your face with whatever he had to say. He was really caustic. And maybe he's not really like that in real life, but that was the brand that maybe the network wanted. Maybe. Or maybe that was him. I don't know. I don't know him personally, so I can't speak to
Mm,
that. But if you are going with a character that you are developing, then that's one thing. But even with doing that, you still have to be authentic to it.
true.
But it's a game that you have to be really strong about. But for us, it's all about who you really are at the core and bring that out.
Wow, that's so beautiful and amazing what you are saying because, you know, when I started, I was thinking really, okay, how how should I present myself? Who do I want to be?
Mhm.
Who should I model? I was like, you know what?
Right.
I'm just doing myself, you know? And
Brilliant.
that was a really tough decision because you know when you look oh my god, she's there, she's brilliant, she dresses like that, and you look and
Yes.
I want to be like that, but then and you try. I tried, and then I was like, nah, it does not really fit me. It's not me. I mean, come
Right.
on. And then slowly, I gone back to my Metallica T-shirt, to my stuff, and I'm talking what I'm talking. Sometimes I do swear. Okay, come on, it happens. It slips out. That's okay.
Right.
But you know what? I'm like, okay, that's
Yes.
me. If you are following me, if you
Mhm.
are inspired by me, you are on my track. If you don't like me, then you can just scroll to someone who
Right.
resonates with you. Because at the end of the day, Nicole, what I'm
Exactly.
saying, we cannot please everybody and we do not have to. As long as we show up like the real us, like the
Precisely.
authentic us, you show up like this, it suits you and it fits you and you're brilliant in it. But for me, I mean, I would I would be all sweaty. I'm like, oh my god, I'm wearing this stuff on me, all right? But
Yes.
but that's the beauty of it. I mean, this is what makes us unique, and this is
Yes.
what makes us to stand apart. I mean, you know, to stand out basically from the crowd, really. Hmm?
That's right. That's right. And personal branding is just that. It's personal. Even when I'm doing styling sessions, wardrobe styling sessions with a client, even though they want to refine their image, because sometimes they might have been more on the casual side and they want to have a more polished professional look, whether they're an employee or a business owner.
Hmm.
I still have to balance my recommendations with who they are at the core and with their true essence. So if you feel like being that, rock and roll girl, and then I'm saying, oh, no, 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 you have to be like Mariah. You have to wear gowns to even go to the playground. Like, come on. Then it would be like, okay. So I have to balance that because they need to feel comfortable in whatever they're wearing. And it's always a joy to me when after our sessions they would go shopping and they would keep messaging me, look what I got, and they're so excited about it, look what I got today, look what I bought, look what I ordered. And I'm like, oh, that husband is probably checking that credit card bill, and ooh, there's going to be trouble, but it's such a joy because then I know that what I recommended worked for them and they were comfortable with it. So that's so important. It really is a personal thing.
True, true, true. Yes, Renee, thank you so much. Balance is key. Absolutely. Yes, I think we both agree that balance is key, really, really. When you coach your clients, for example,
Definitely.
when you
Yes.
coach your clients, Nicole, let's say you just meet me and I'm your client, and I said, look, I want to show up like this on social media. How would you start? I mean, don't tell me everything because then just in kind of nutshell. I mean, that's, that's
Yes.
the point,
Well,
but
one of the things I always do is I try to get to know people. And I always say let people talk. I even discovered that years ago when I was a magazine columnist with a local newspaper because I wanted people to talk. And because the more you talk, the more you get to know the more you'll feel comfortable, the more you'll get relaxed, the more you may feel like sharing. So I like to create that comfortable space for people to talk and to share. Because well, a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
actually, in just talking to a client, I get to find out certain things that can help me serve them. So I can say, well, okay, this is a problem that they have. So, okay, I am going to include this in my coaching session because we'll need to deal with that, or that is a key element that I need to address. So I like people to talk so that I can get a feel for them and get to understand them and even understand their personality. And then once we get past that, I would start to conceptualize my coaching sessions. I do not like to do generic coaching sessions. And, if you call me and say, all right, is so and so day available? Okay, good. Is so and so time available? Okay, good. Let's do this. And I don't know anything about you, and I just start to talk at you, not with you, but I start to talk at you because I don't even know what's going on with you. You just tell me you want to learn how to do media interviews effectively. And I just start talking, well, okay, for this, you need to do this, and you need to do that, and you need to do that, and this, and that, and that. And I don't even know what your problems are. So I need to figure those things out and customize all of my
Mm-hmm.
workshops, all of my coaching sessions, all of my consultations are customized. They're customized specifically to you. And if need be, sometimes I would even send you some questions so I can get a feel for things, and then we move on. So that is
Wow,
very, very important in my process.
that's brilliant, Nicole. And I must say, I love you for that, really, because personalized.
Oh,
This is.
thank
I mean,
you.
it's so strong and really, really powerful because it shows that you focus on that person and it's not just a mass thing. And actually, a question just crossed my mind. You used to work in
Yes.
corporate, and I'm seeing now that you
Mhm.
basically are loving what you're doing right now. Now, from corporate to be
Yes.
a, may I call you a branding queen, though? Yes, because you are. It's a big difference, a big step. What made you change your mind, and what made you choose this path of being a coach in personal branding and styling from corporate to here? It's quite a lot. I mean, it must happen a lot of things along the way. So what
Yes.
made you choose this path? You love it. I can see that. I mean, it's amazing that I'm so happy that you did.
I, yeah, I do. Yes, yes, I do. To be honest, my first motivating factor for becoming a business owner was to be my own boss. I swear that I'm being
Yes.
honest. That was it. I wanted to
Oh
be
my
my
god.
own boss. That was the first thing. Yeah,
That's so good.
because I was in corporate and there was so many things that were happening that I was not happy with. And I found I was getting more and more, I started feeling more and more out of sorts. And
Mm.
if I had to share this, I wanted to be a business owner since I was 7 years old, and as time went on, and with these corporate experiences, I started feeling the nudge more and more to jump. I remember Steve Harvey talking about this. He's like, jump, you got to jump. And I was doing really well. I had become a branding strategist at a media house, and I was doing really well. But I started feeling that nudge again. So I said, okay, I'm going to leave. I knew what date I wanted to leave and all of that. And I allowed myself to be talked out of it by my manager. And I said, okay, I'll give it some time. And a little over a year after, I said, no, no, I can't do this anymore. And I had to leave. But after that, I freelanced. And that time I took to really decide what I wanted to do because I didn't want to start something, hot and sweaty, as they say, and then have to switch gears. So I took my time, and then I decided to start my company, which started off as an event planning and public relations business. And I said, okay, let's do this. the first class I went to when I did the event planning course, I said, okay, this is what I want to do. I made up my mind. So soon after finishing that course, I went and I registered my business and I said, okay, girl, let's go.
That's your
And
path. Let's do
I,
it.
yes, yes. And I went, so I was like, yes, I'm my own boss now. I can do whatever I want. But later on, to be really honest, it became two things for me. Spending more, having the freedom, I should say, of time to spend with my family.
Mhm.
Because while I was building my career in the corporate world, in corporate advertising and in media, I was losing a lot of family time, a lot. And it started bothering me. And I said, you know what? I'm starting to feel disconnected because yes, I'm talking to them often, but I'm not seeing them as that freedom because in corporate, when you ask for a day off or for time off,
Yeah,
didn't you
exactly.
ask for
I know the
time off
look.
last week? Last week, didn't you take 2 days? Yeah. And I'm like, so that became important to me. But the more I got into business, it also became about my purpose. And I realized that my purpose was helping people and inspiring people. And so it's something now that I don't take lightly, especially as people gravitate to me and they have a certain level of expectations with me. It's not something that I take lightly. So
Yeah.
now it's about freedom, it's about time, it's about creating my own paths and doing things how I want to do it, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it. But
Perfect.
very importantly as well, showing purpose.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Nicole. Okay, let's see what we've
You're
got
welcome.
here. Dr. Anita said, personalizing the package. That's cool. Yes, Dr. Anita, I think so. That's really, really, really
Hi, Dr.
cool.
Anita.
Renee,
Yes,
Renee Princess says, yes, conversations are important. When you are comfortable, you are inclined to share more, which can only benefit you in the long term, in the long run.
definitely.
Yes.
Hi,
Being
Renee. Hi.
Renee says, being your own boss is the best. I can totally relate. Me too. Yes. Boss babes.
Yay! Yes, boss babes. Woohoo!
So I would love to ask you, Nicole, do you think that
Mhm.
becoming an entrepreneur, let's say, even a one man solopreneur or having a bigger company, should an entrepreneur be the face of their business? Is it that really necessary?
I would say it is in these times. And like I touched on a few times before, there's that relatability factor all the way through. It may not be quote unquote necessary, but it definitely has some merit to it, right? When I started Okura events, I knew I wanted a bit of a corporate feel. I wanted to present it as this sort of corporate company. However,
Mhm.
I knew that I wanted to be the face of the business because there were a lot of times I would be working one on one with people. So I started off with that corporate feel, and then little by little, I started to be the face of my business. And that has worked really well. There were a lot of times on social media whenever I did a personal post. And when I say personal, I included a picture of myself. I talked
Mhm.
about something relating to work and I did it in a storytelling way. Oh, whoa. Like those were the most popular posts. And that said something to me. So it's not like they may not like other posts, but just seeing that person behind, hearing a story, feeling some type of way, putting in something that they might relate to, or simply putting emotion into the post,
True.
all of these things worked together.
True.
So while you may not necessarily have to do it, why wouldn't you do it? And there is something that I always see when you are observing the big boys, in business, and you see them doing certain things, that
Mm-hmm.
should say something to you. Because the big wigs out there, the big honchos and all of them, they are people, they don't do things on a fluke. If they're doing something, there is some sort of merit to that. Trust and believe. They don't do it on a fluke. So they know, listen, if I do this, it can get me over here.
True.
That's what they see. So they would go and do it because they know they are going to benefit in some way. So if the bigwig who's running a company with 120 around the world or whatever, if they can find the time to do podcasts or to do interviews or
Mm-hmm.
to do live interviews on Facebook or Instagram or whatever the case might be, if they can find the time to do it, who are we who are now building our empires? Who
That's
are we? We
true.
have to learn from them. If we are aspiring to them, we have to look at them and say, okay, this is a leaf I need to take from their book. So again, personal, being the face of your business, and especially if you have a service-based business.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Nicole, for sharing that.
Most
Because
welcome.
our I remember on at the beginning, especially when I started, the coaching stuff. Nah, I'm not giving I don't want to show up there. I just put my stuff. I just do recording the videos. That's really nice. And then, I do really
Right.
nice stories. But I was afraid, honestly, I'm going to be very honest. I was afraid to show up on camera. I was like, nah, me, no, no, no.
Yeah.
Now you see me very often, of course,
Right.
here and there. I'm more comfortable, but maybe you came across, or you already come across, client who said, Nicole,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really comfortable. Yes, I would love to do this, and
Oh,
I have this business, but
so
I'm not
many times.
so many times, right? Because especially women somehow, at, in the beginning, especially, they're like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to show up. I'm afraid of the camera. But
Yes.
you know what? At the end of the day, you are beautiful. You have to show up. Come on. We are unique, and that makes us, beautiful. Though all of us. I
Yeah, and
remember.
and you
I remember on my very first live, I was sweating. I was like, oh my goodness. It took, I don't think it lasted 5 minutes, I think, or something like that.
oh
I was, it was like I was talking to 1,000 people and I was in front of a camera and I've seen nobody. Yet, I was still anxious, nervous.
right.
Well, it's not the case anymore, guys, but
Yes.
I was that person, I'm telling you. So,
And see, that's the beautiful thing about it, because people think when they're now starting a business or whatever the case might be, they think, okay, I'm supposed to go from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds.
no,
And no, it's
no,
about growth. And I
exactly.
always tell them, I said, the more you practice, the more you'll become comfortable. And then
Exactly.
you'll be like, girl, I can handle this. I can
Exactly.
do this. So
Exactly.
it's all about growth. So don't be so hard. So many people are so hard on themselves. And I would dare say, yes, women are hard because we think, oh, how am I looking? What would people
Exactly.
say? I don't have great clothes or whatever the case might be. They always have some reason why they think, oh, I can't
Oh,
do that.
there is
And
always
one
something.
great excuse, I don't have the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good
Or they
one.
don't have the
That's a good
time
one. Yes.
to do it. Yeah. And I'm like, come on now. So sometimes it takes conditioning them. And a lot of times, though, after our first session, you see them, perk up a bit more because, they start to get that confidence, because you would um, draw certain things to their attention and they start to work on it. So I say continue working on it because that's how you'll improve. So don't try to go from 0 to 100. Don't want to do the YouTube and the lives and the this and the that all at once. No, take it step by step and groove yourself in. And when you get comfortable, you go to the next level. And that's how you do it. Don't be on anybody else's timeline. Don't look and see who's doing what. You do
Exactly.
what's comfortable for you. The growth and the success, it will come.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. I remember,
Welcome.
I was looking, at other coaches and I was like, oh my God, she has YouTube, she has that and she has that. I have to do this and that. And after a while, I'm like, what am I doing? That's too much. I don't want to do this.
It's
You
yes,
know what? Slow down, Christina. Take a deep breath. Take one at a time.
yes,
But I had to learn really because
yes.
this is stuff. It's all about mindset. It's all about knowing really where you want to be and where you know where you
Mm-hmm.
want to be. Just take tiny little steps. Because my chapter one,
Yes.
I was looking on someone else's chapter 10. Oh my God, she's there. I was,
Oh
what
my
is her?
gosh. Yes.
And that's a
Yes.
huge mistake
Yes.
because you never know that person. Maybe they started a few years ago. Maybe they started, so they have a lot of work already behind them to get there. And you are
Exactly.
just starting. So just start where you are with
Exactly.
what you have. Simple as that. Show up. That's the most important. Put on your
That's
lipstick.
so
Show up.
important. Yes, because yeah, because if you've ever looked at reality shows on television,
Mhm.
this is something that stood out to me a few years ago. I was looking at a reality show that somebody had mentioned, and I said, okay, I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna look at it. So I started at season one, and I went on, and what I realized is with every season, they improved. The lighting improved, the set improved, the way they went about conceptualizing the episodes improved. Because,
Mm,
in the first season, they were like just using some little seedy rooms with poor lighting. And, the concept was there, the concept of the show.
uh-huh.
But, in terms of all the different variables involved, they didn't start up here. They started just what you said, right where they were, and they built up and they improved. And it's the same
Exactly.
thing we have to think of in business. When we start off, we can't have all the frills. Let me tell you, one of the things that
Exactly.
kept me back from moving into entrepreneurship, one of the things was that I wanted to start big. I had that idea in my mind that, okay, I want to start and I want to start big and I want to have the commercial office and, I want to have the frills and the
I do
lighting and the
this.
this and the that.
Okay.
And yeah, I wanted to have it all. And yes, I wanted to have the
I know.
whole shebang. So I was like, okay, I'm going to wait until I can get all of those things. And it took me a long moment, to reach to the point to say, listen, start where you are. You don't need a commercial office. You don't need a physical location. You have a nook in your home. Use that as your office nook. You can work from home. And
True.
you start there and you build up. And once I changed my thinking, oh,
Mhm.
everything just took off from there. And it was like you could not stop me after that. So mindset is, oh my gosh, it is key. It
It
really
is
is
true.
key.
Absolutely. I agree. Mindset, really, your mindset, daring,
Yeah.
not being afraid really to show up. And as I said, and as you said, start where you are.
Yes, because being a businesswoman, we have a lot of challenges even after we've started our business and leveled off. There's always
Yes,
something to deal with. There
always.
is always something to think about. There is always some decision to be made, whether it's social media content or something within the business itself. We always have something to do. There's some challenge or the other. So if your mindset isn't right, then that's a problem. And I will just share with people what I did when I made the decision that I was going to go into business for sure. It became literally like a job for me. Literally every single day, because I was working at home freelancing every single day. I would go on YouTube. I would look at inspirational videos. I would follow um, public personalities, businessmen,
Mhm.
whoever the case was. I would look at them. I would look at sermons of my favorite preachers, because somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew I had to set my mind right, and I had to prepare myself for what was going to come.
True.
So, listening to all of these seasoned businessmen and women and getting that spiritual download, so to
Mhm.
speak, I
I know.
knew that I had to set myself right. You're hearing me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, I knew I had to set myself right. So, literally, for months, I'm not even kidding you, for months, every single day, I would spend a collective number of hours doing that. And I think that really did help me, because at times when I started my business, girl, you want to be in the corner on the ground, curled up, because it's like, oh my God, what is this? I have this challenge, and I'm not making what I thought I'd be making, and I have this, and you're just like,
Yeah.
and we have those moments.
True.
So I think if I didn't have all of that within me start, maybe I would have crumbled. So I had to prepare myself mentally for it.
Yeah. I completely understand. It resonates with me. I used to do the same. I'm still doing the same though, because challenges they will be. I always listen. I mean, this is how we learn. This is how we grow. It's part of, it's part of the process though. If you know where you want to be,
Yes.
you just adjust a little
Yes,
bit,
it
you learn a little
is.
bit more, and then this is how you grow. Oh my goodness, I'm aware of
Yes,
the
definitely.
time. I could keep you here for but what I would love to ask from you is, oh guys, thank you so much for all the likes and hearts what you have been sending to us today. I really, really
Aw.
appreciate it. Yes, Reverend Jocelyn said, who? Oh, yeah, that was my thing. Wanting to start big.
Hi, Reverend
Boy, how
Jocelyn.
it kept me back and in trouble. Thank God for changed mindset. Yeah, I think we all been there. Because I dream, oh my God, I'm gonna have a team like
Yes,
this, and I'm
yes.
gonna have an office like that, and then the clients just will flow in, and I don't
Yes.
have a schedule. And then after a half hour, I was like, Christina, I want to just wake up or do something because this is not
Yeah.
working. So I would. Oh, can you hear me though? Okay. If
Yes.
if someone
Yes, I'm hearing
resonates,
you.
oh, perfect. If someone resonates with you, they would love to reach out to you. They would love to work with you. Where they can find you, Nicole?
Okay, so they can definitely find me on Facebook. It might be easiest if they want to connect with me on my personal page, which is Nicole Farrell, Farrell Farrell. And from there, we can always connect. But if you want to also check out my business page, it's Okura Events. It's three words: AUCOURANT, and events with a Z at the end. That's my Facebook business page. I am also on LinkedIn at Nicole Farrell. So that's very straightforward. That's easy for you to find. I am on Clubhouse as well under Nicole Farrell. So I try to make it as easy across the board as possible. And recently, we started on Twitter. We're finally in Twitterland.
Oh,
So we're
wow.
there under Okura Events. So any one of those, yeah, any one of those, you can feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, there's no problem with you reaching out to me on my Facebook personal page, which is Nicole Farrell. I'm fine with that.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. I think we are going to put in the comments your website as well so it can be easily found. And before we leave today, I would lovingly like to ask you, Is there anything what you would love to share, a message? I wouldn't say advice. I don't like giving advices. I do not ask for advices. But is there anything
Yeah.
but is there anything in particular what you would love to share with our audience today while watching live, or if you guys are watching in the replay?
I would like to reiterate that there is power in personal branding. It's something that I coach women in, as well as the media interview coaching and the presentation skills coaching. I also deal with that personal branding aspect. I am such a nerd for it's brand, BRAND, and that will fall under my quote unquote advice. So the first one is B, and that is be it and do it. Once you decide what you want your brand to be that and do that. And
Right.
do it consistently and do it authentically. R is for rank yourself. Rank
Mm.
yourself. You
Wow, that
are
sounds
good at
awesome.
what you do. Yes, you are good at what you do. Do what you do. Don't be afraid. And this is another thing. People are so afraid to say, hey, I'm good at that. Hey, I can do that. Hey, you can ask me,
True.
to do that. I can do it. Rank yourself. If you're good at writing, rank yourself. If you're good at speaking, rank yourself. If you're good at conceptualizing things and organizing things, rank yourself. That's how people get to know about you. I tell my clients all the time, I say, be pushy. Being pushy doesn't mean you're being aggressive. It means you are alert to opportunities and you can jump on them as you see fit. So rank yourself. And A has to do, this is something you need to do from the very beginning, which is ascertain what you even want your brand to be. And we spoke about this earlier in the live. You decide what you want it to be, and then we go back to B, which is be it and do it. And never negotiate your brand. Whether
Wow.
it's a great opportunity you feel you have, whether it's a popular or famous person who asks you to do it, whether they're willing to pay you a figure that has two commas in the amount, it doesn't matter. Do not negotiate your brand. Brand alignment is very, very important. So if you have to align yourself with a brand or take some sort of opportunity or do a collaboration or whatever the case is, you have to be very careful with your decisions, because if you make the wrong step, then you may very well have to see how you can undo what you did, and you actually face confusing your clients or your ideal clients, as we spoke about. And D, don't don't be afraid to try new things. That is what we're here for. Come out of your comfort zones, try different things. Stop being in the shadows and expect to be seen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. So do not be afraid to try new things and make yourself visible. And that's my advice for today.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's a brilliant one. I love this brand thingy.
You're
It's really,
welcome.
really, really nice. And it's a really nice closure of tonight.
Thanks.
I
Thank
would
you.
I would really love to thank you for being with us today, Nicole, and sharing your knowledge and wisdom. I really, really appreciate.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
I would love to thank you guys for being here with us tonight, sending us loads, loads, loads of love. We really appreciate that. We love you. I'm gonna say bye until next time. I'm gonna see you next Tuesday. And until then, I'm sending you lots of love and light as always. Bye for now.
Bye.